Everything you were taught about money is a lie. You've heard the story before. In the beginning, humans bartered. A farmer traded wheat for a blacksmith's tools. A fisherman exchanged fish for cloth, but barter was inefficient. What if the blacksmith didn't want wheat? What if the fisherman needed something the cloth maker didn't have? So humans invented money. First coins, then paper, then digital. Problem solved. Civilization advanced. It's a neat story. Logical, easy to understand. There's just one problem. It never happened. Anthropologists have studied societies across the world across thousands of years. They've looked for evidence of barter economies. Societies where people regularly traded goods directly before money existed. They found nothing. Not a single example, not one society, not anywhere on Earth. The barter story is a myth, a fairy tale, invented by economists in the 18th century who never bothered to check if it was true. So what did happen? Credit, debt, promises. 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, people weren't trading wheat for tools. They were keeping track of who owed what to whom. Clay tablets recorded debts. You owe me 3 bushels of grain, I'll pay you back after the harvest. Money didn't replace barter. Money emerged from debt. The first money wasn't coins or shells. It was a record of obligation, a promise, an IOU. This matters because it reveals something fundamental about money that they don't want you to understand. If they lied about how money started, what else are they lying about? Who really controls your money? Where does it come from? And why does it seem like no matter how hard you work, you're always falling behind? The answers will make you angry. They should. Throughout history, whoever controlled money controlled society. Roman emperors discovered they could fund wars by clipping coins. Shave a little silver off each coin, melt it down, make more coins. The people paid through inflation they didn't understand. Medieval goldsmiths discovered something even better. People deposited gold for safekeeping. The goldsmiths issued paper receipts, but they noticed people rarely came back for the actual gold. They just traded the receipts. So the goldsmiths started issuing more receipts than they had gold, lending money that didn't exist, charging interest on nothing. This is called fractional reserve banking. It's still how banks work today. In 1910, 7 men gathered in secret on Jekyll Island, Georgia. They represented the most powerful banks in America. Their goal, create a central bank that would serve their interests while appearing to serve the public. 3 years later, the Federal Reserve was born. The name itself is a lie. It's not federal. It's a private institution owned by banks. It has no reserves. It creates money from nothing. The Fed was sold to the public as a way to prevent financial crises. Since its creation, America has experienced the Great Depression, the 2008 financial crisis, and countless recessions. The Fed doesn't prevent crises, it creates them. Then it uses them to consolidate power. For most of the 20th century, the US dollar was backed by gold. You could, in theory, exchange your dollars for a fixed amount of gold. This limited how much money the government could print. You can't print gold. On August 15, 1971, President Nixon went on television and changed everything. I have directed Secretary Connolly to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold. Temporarily. That was over 50 years ago. With one announcement, no vote, no debate, no consent, the dollar became pure belief, worth something only because people agreed it was worth something. Since that day, the dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. What cost $1 in 1971 costs nearly $7 today. This wasn't an accident, it was a feature. In 2008, the banks gambled. They created complex financial instruments they didn't understand, sold them to people who understood them even less, and when the house of cards collapsed, they came to the government for help. And the government helped, not you, them. Banks received $700 billion in bailouts. Their executives received bonuses. Meanwhile, 10 million Americans lost their homes to foreclosure. The message was clear. When banks fail, they get rescued. When you fail, you get evicted. Too big to fail really means too powerful to punish. So what is money really? It's not gold. Nixon proved that. It's not paper, that's just what it's printed on. It's not digits in a computer, that's just how it's stored. Money is belief, a shared fiction. A collective agreement that these pieces of paper, these numbers on a screen have value. It works because we all agree it works. The moment that agreement breaks, money becomes worthless. This isn't theory, it's history. Germany, 1923. After World War I, the German government printed money to pay its debts. At first, prices rose slowly, then faster, then exponentially. At its peak, prices doubled every few days. Workers were paid twice daily because their morning wages would be worthless by afternoon. People burned money for heat because it was cheaper than firewood. Children played with stacks of banknotes worth less than toys. A loaf of bread that cost 250 marks in January cost 200 billion marks by November. Zimbabwe, 2008. The government printed money to fund a war and pay off political allies. Inflation hit 79% billion per month. They printed a $100 trillion note. It couldn't buy a bus ticket. Venezuela today, once the richest country in South America. Now people weigh money instead of counting it. A month's wages can't buy a week's groceries. It can't happen here. That's what Germans said. That's what Zimbabweans said. That's what Venezuelans said. Every time a government prints money, it's stealing from you. Not through taxes you can see. Through inflation you can feel but can't fight. Your savings lose value, your wages buy less. The house you could afford last year is out of reach this year. Meanwhile, the wealthy get wealthier. They own assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. When money is printed, asset prices rise. The rich get richer. Inflation is a wealth transfer from you to them, from the many to the few. It's not a bug in the system. It's the system working exactly as designed. On January 3, 2009, something new appeared. A mysterious figure called Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin. In the first block of the blockchain, Satoshi embedded a message, a headline from that day's newspaper, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. The message was clear. Bitcoin was a response to 2008, a protest in code, a system designed to be everything traditional money wasn't. No central bank, no government control. A fixed supply that can never be inflated, transactions that can't be censored, money that belongs to you, not to institutions. Satoshi wrote, "The root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust. For many, Bitcoin represented hope, an escape from a rigged system. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, neither does gold, neither does the dollar, neither does any money. All money, every form of money that has ever existed, has value only because people believe it has value. Bitcoin is not an escape from the illusion, it's a different illusion, perhaps a better one, perhaps not. Its price swings wildly, up 300% one year, down 70% the next. You can't price goods in something that's volatile, you can't plan a life around it. And the dream of decentralization, look closer. A handful of mining pools control most of the network. A few exchanges control most of the trading. Whales with massive holdings can move the market at will. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. While you were watching Bitcoin, governments were watching too, and they learned. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, government-issued digital money, coming soon to a country near you. China has already launched theirs. Europe is developing one, the US is researching. On the surface it sounds convenient, faster payments, lower fees, financial inclusion. Look deeper. Every transaction tracked, every purchase recorded, money with an expiration date. Spend it by December or it disappears. Money with restrictions, can't buy alcohol, can't donate to that political cause, can't send money to that person. Money with an off switch, disagree with the government, your money stops working. Attend the wrong protest, your account is frozen. Post the wrong opinion, your social credit score drops and your purchasing power with it. This isn't dystopian fiction. This is the stated goal. Programmable money they call it, for your safety, for your convenience, for their control. Step back, look at the full picture. Every form of money is a technology, and every technology solves problems while creating new ones. Coins solved the problem of trusting strangers. You didn't need to know the merchant. The gold in the coin was the trust. Paper money solved the problem of weight. You couldn't carry enough gold to buy a house. Paper made large transactions possible. Digital money solved the problem of distance. You can send money across the world in seconds. Cryptocurrency solved the problem of institutional trust. You don't need to trust a bank, the code is the trust. But each solution created new problems. Coins could be clipped, paper could be printed, digital could be tracked, crypto could be volatile. Technology is neutral. It serves whoever controls it. Money promises freedom, the freedom to buy what you want, to live where you want, to become who you want. But money is also control. Debt chains you to a job you hate. Credit scores determine where you can live. Financial surveillance tracks your every move. The same tool that liberates you can enslave you. It depends on who's holding it. Credit cards offer freedom. Buy now, pay later. But the average American carries over $6,000 in credit card debt. At 20% interest, that's not freedom. That's a trap designed to look like freedom. Mortgages offer freedom. Own your home, but miss a few payments and discover who really owns it. The freedom money gives, money can take away. History reveals a pattern. The same pattern repeating across centuries, across civilizations. It starts with sound money, gold, silver, something with real scarcity. Then comes debasement. The powerful discover they can create more money. Clip the coins, print the paper, type the digits. Then comes collapse. The money becomes worthless, savings evaporate, society fractures. Then comes reset. A new form of money emerges. The cycle begins again. Roman coins, Chinese paper money, continental dollars, Weimar marks. Every fiat currency in history has eventually failed, every single one. The US dollar has lost 97% of its value since the Federal Reserve was created. We are not at the beginning of this cycle. We are deep into the debasement phase. The question is not if, the question is when. The system is not broken. The system is working exactly as designed. It's designed to extract wealth from you, slowly, invisibly. Through inflation you can feel but can't fight. Through debt that compounds while you sleep. Through a financial system so complex that understanding it is a full-time job. Why isn't financial literacy taught in schools? Because informed citizens are harder to exploit. Why is the Federal Reserve independent from democratic oversight? Because accountability would limit their power. Why do banks get bailout out while you get foreclosed on? Because the system serves them, not you. This isn't conspiracy. This is history. This is documented. This is how power works. So where does this leave you? What happens when the next crisis comes? And it will come. It always comes. When inflation eats your savings, what will you do? When CBDCs arrive with their tracking and their restrictions, will you comply? When the system demands more from you and offers less in return, will you accept it? The history of money is the history of control. Those who control money control you. They control what you can buy, where you can live, how you can live. They've controlled it for centuries. They're not going to stop. The question isn't whether the system will fail. The question is, will you be ready when it does?